Hello, today's story takes place in South Africa. This country, located at the southernmost tip of the African continent, is the second largest economy in Africa, with four main economic pillars being mining, manufacturing, agriculture, and services. South Africa has a total population of about 60 million people, with a complex racial relationship. The population of white people is gradually decreasing each year and now makes up only 7.8% of the total population. South Africa has three capitals. Pretoria is the administrative capital, Cape Town is the legislative capital, and Bloemfontein is the judicial capital. South Africa is a beautiful country, boasting vast grasslands, enchanting beaches, majestic mountain ranges, and vibrant cities. However, hidden behind this splendid facade are numerous social vices. About 40 km east of Cape Town lies the city of Stellenbosch, situated at the foot of Stellenbosch Mountain. Stellenbosch is one of the oldest towns in South Africa, with sunny summers and a large diurnal temperature range. This unique climate has turned Stellenbosch into a famous grape-growing region, producing fine wines. Today's story takes place here. The main character of the story is Anna. She was born in Cape Town, a southwestern coastal city of South Africa, into an elite family. Her father, William, is a local judge. Her mother, Maria, is a lawyer running her own law firm. Anna also has a younger brother, 3 years her junior, who has autism and requires special care from the family. From a young age, Anna was intelligent and sharp, achieving excellent academic performance. She had diverse interests, excelling in playing the piano and acting, making her a well-rounded and talented girl. If one had to point out Anna's biggest weak point, it would probably be her kind heart. Before her 16th birthday, her parents planned a grand birthday party for Anna. However, after careful thought, Anna declined her parents' kind offer. The reason was that she wanted to use the money for the party to help impoverished children who were struggling for their daily meals. Supported by her parents, Anna bought food and many essentials to give to local poor children. From then on, every birthday, Anna would save her pocket money to help those in need. In 2015, Anna was accepted into Stellenbosch University with excellent results, majoring in social sciences and humanities. The university is located north of central Stellenbosch, about 40 km from Anna's hometown in Cape Town. It is a leading public research university and one of the oldest universities in South Africa. Anna rented a room at the Irene Female Dormitory, not far from the school. Her parents, wishing for her to commute conveniently, offered to buy her a car. But Anna thought the money should be put to more meaningful use, so she declined her parents' kind offer. Later, Anna's 90-year-old grandmother gifted her a 1984 blue Volkswagen Golf that had been used for over 30 years. This time, Anna accepted the gift. In addition to studying, Anna actively participated in social activities related to animal protection. Her kind and open-hearted nature helped her make many friends at school. At a party, Anna met Jeline, a 22-year-old student at Stellenbosch University majoring in mathematics. Jeline was an outgoing young man who loved sports, especially skateboarding. Whether going to school or out with friends, Jeline always used his favorite skateboard. Although they studied different majors, Anna and Jeline shared many similar traits, always having countless things to share and quickly became close friends. However, on a night in May 2017, the two young friends faced a harsh challenge of fate. On May 26, 2017, a Friday, students at Stellenbosch University finished a week of study. At the age of 21, Anna had been studying at the school for nearly 2 years. Since it was the weekend, she decided to go with a group of friends to a bar near the school to relax. The nightlife in Stellenbosch was very vibrant, especially on weekends, with bars being very crowded. That evening, Anna and her friends went to the bar together, drinking, chatting, and enjoying a rare happy time. During this, Anna saw Jolene in another group. As they knew each other, they naturally sat down to talk. The friends they brought along quickly became acquainted. The group played dominoes, a game very popular among South African students at the time. The fun time passed quickly, and it was already 3 a.m. before they knew it. Feeling it was late, Anna said goodbye to the group, saying she would head back to the dorm first and would meet them again another time. At this moment, Jolene also expressed his intention to leave. Initially, Jolene planned to skateboard home. But thinking it was late, and that Anna, a girl, going alone wasn't safe, he offered to take her home. Anna gladly accepted. Though they weren't romantically involved, perhaps they had some feelings for each other. On the deserted road at dawn, besides Anna and Shetland, there were a few young individuals scattered around. Anna's dormitory, Adun, was only 1.3 km away from the cafe. The two walked and chatted cheerfully, quickly reaching their destination. As Shetland prepared to leave, Anna suddenly worried about his safety. The local security situation was not very favorable. Robberies occurred frequently. Fortunately, Anna had a car, so she suggested driving Shetland home. Shetland lived at the Ravenda apartment complex 2.2 km away. Initially, Shetland wanted to decline but couldn't resist Anna's persistence, so he agreed. He placed his skateboard in the trunk and sat in the front passenger seat. At 3:23 a.m., the car arrived at the Ravenda apartment complex. Surveillance cameras captured the scene at a parking lot in front of the complex. Anna's car slowly drove in and parked next to a white car, in a somewhat hidden position. After parking, the two did not get out immediately but continued their cheerful conversation. 6 minutes later, at 3:29 a.m., surveillance cameras recorded 4 men walking past Anna's parked car. They looked back frequently, appearing very suspicious. They then disappeared from the camera's view. The 4 men were Eben Goodboy 32, Zerando Parson 26, Eben Vanaker 27, and Layfield Juliet 28. They were all notorious criminals, specializing in robbery and theft, committing numerous crimes. Their presence late at night suggested they were hunting for prey. 3 minutes later, at 3:32 a.m., 2 of the 4 men reappeared on surveillance cameras. This time, they walked straight towards Anna's blue Volkswagen Golf. At this moment, the 2 people in the car were entirely unaware of the approaching danger. The car doors were unlocked and the windows were open. As Chet Lin was about to get out of the car, one of the men suddenly appeared outside the window with a screwdriver in his hand. Shetland realized the situation was not good, but another man immediately opened the rear door, pointed a gun at Shetland, and forced him into the back seat. The man with the screwdriver then jumped into the driver's seat, pushing Anna between the front seats. Next to her were Goodboy and Parson. Subsequently, the other two men also got into the back seat, controlling Chet Lynn. They searched the victims' phones and wallets. Anna was terrified, pleading with the robbers to take the items and leave immediately. One of the robbers, named Juliet, opened Chet Lynn's wallet, finding only 40 South African Rand, approximately 55,000 VND. He was about to leave, but, seeing his three associates had no intention of stopping, decided to withdraw. Juliet took the 40 Rand, got out of the car, and quickly disappeared. By this time, it was 3:35 a.m. Goodboy, sitting in the driver's seat, quickly found the car keys and started the engine. At 3:39 a.m., the car slowly left the apartment's parking lot. After driving for a while, the three robbers pulled Chet Lynn out of the car and stuffed him into the trunk. Anna, shaking with fear, asked where they were taking her. The robbers said they just wanted to go home and would return the car to her afterward. Anna naively believed them, but it was only the beginning of a nightmare. After driving about 10 kilometers, the car stopped in a secluded alley. Two robbers got out, bought drugs from a shady group, and then continued driving. After driving a little further, they pulled over by the roadside. The robbers got out of the car, opened the trunk, and demanded the password for Chet Lynn's bank card. Reluctantly, Chet Lynn provided a sequence of numbers. The robbers drove another 10 kilometers to a gas station on the outskirts of Stellenbosch. Surveillance cameras showed the blue Volkswagen Golf stopping in front of the convenience store at the gas station. Then, the robber Goodboy entered the store, wearing a down jacket and black pants, holding Chet Lynn's bank card. He stood in front of the ATM inside the store for a long time, continuously trying, but couldn't withdraw any money because Chet Lynn had given him a fake password. Leaving the convenience store, Goodboy returned to the car, driving away from the gas station. From the surveillance cameras, Anna could be clearly seen sitting in the passenger seat. The car then continued for about 15 km to Clive Fountain. There, Goodboy and his accomplices bought and used drugs while engaging in some shady deals. They then drove into the night, with Chet Lynn locked in the trunk. In extreme panic, he continuously kicked the trunk, trying to get out. Anna seemed calmer, not screaming. However, the noise from the trunk quickly angered the criminals. At 5:30 a.m., the car stopped in a desolate field at Clive Fountain. Anna, terrified, asked why they stopped here. The robbers replied they wanted to take a break and smoke. Goodboy and Parson got out of the car and pulled Chet Lynn from the trunk, dragging him to a secluded spot. They pushed Chet Lynn to the ground. His entire body trembled, not knowing what was about to happen to him. The robbers appeared angry, cursing at Chet Lynn for giving them a fake password, thus deceiving them, and now he had to pay the price. Goodboy and Parsons picked up a large rock from the ground and struck Chet Lynn's head hard with it. At 10 a.m. that day, at Clive Fountain, a couple was watching TV in their living room when they heard frantic cries for help from outside the door. Surprised, they opened the living room window to see a young man with a blood-covered face standing before them. The couple was somewhat frightened, mistakenly thinking he was a gang member involved in a recent brawl, and asked him to leave quickly. This young man was none other than Chatelain. He was severely injured in the head, but miraculously survived and remained conscious. Chatelain staggered around looking for help. Encountering this couple, he tried to ask them to call the police. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, the couple hurriedly called the police. After receiving the report, the police arrived at the scene and took Chatelain to the hospital. Upon examination, Chatelain was found to have a broken arm, severe traumatic brain injury, and a severed left arm. He recounted the entire incident to the police and pleaded with them to quickly rescue Hannah. In fact, more than an hour earlier, at a vineyard in Ste. Louis, the body of a young girl had been discovered. The police quickly arrived at the scene. The victim was so disfigured that she was unrecognizable, with bruises all over her limbs and severe head trauma. The victim had 2 stab wounds on her neck and showed signs of assault. Based on Chatelain's testimony, the police conducted a DNA comparison and confirmed that the victim was Hannah, 21 years old. Clearly, a serious criminal case had occurred. Backtracking a bit, after murdering Hannah, the gang of robbers did not stop. At 8:30 a.m., they drove Hannah's car from Stellenbosch to Creighton Fountain and targeted a 32-year-old female worker on her way to work. The car blocked the woman's path, and Whitboy and Eben exited the car, pushing her down, robbing her of her phone, wallet, and bank card before fleeing. A few hours later, they reached the town of Cooley River, 9 km south of Creighton Fountain. There, they continued their spree by robbing another woman, forcing the victim into the car. At 1:12 p.m., surveillance cameras at a gas station in Canfell District recorded images of a blue Volkswagen Golf with the kidnapped woman in the back seat. Afterward, Whitboy, the mastermind, got out of the car, changed clothes, and donned beige pants instead of the black ones he wore earlier. He entered a convenience store and, like before, used the stolen bank card to withdraw money from an ATM. This time, the password was correct, and he withdrew 3,000 den, approximately 4.1 million VND at the current exchange rate. Having obtained the money, the 2 robbers leisurely exited the convenience store and drove away. The woman, fortunately, escaped unharmed as she had given the correct password, and they released her on a deserted rural road. Following this, the 3 robbers returned to the city center, splitting the 3,000 den, with Eben receiving 1,000 den before getting out of the car, and the remaining 2 continuing to drive around the area, intending to sell the Volkswagen. However, by this time, the car's license plate was already on the police's wanted list. At 1:30 p.m., an undercover police officer patrolling near a winery close to the city center spotted Hannah's blue car with 2 people inside. To avoid alerting the suspects, the officer secretly communicated with headquarters for backup and then followed the car alone. Shortly after, another police car arrived for support. Realizing they were being followed, Hannah's car sped away, leading to a half-hour-long chase between the police and the criminals. The Volkswagen was eventually cornered near the gate of a farm, where the 2 robbers recklessly drove it straight into the farm. Surveillance cameras at the farm's gate captured this scene. The man in a green jacket and black pants was the undercover police officer. The two robbers made a desperate escape, with one even jumping into a river, but it was all in vain. The police eventually captured both of them. After being arrested, Whitboy and Parson confessed readily, naming their two remaining accomplices. That evening, Eben and Julius were also apprehended by the police. From the time Hannah and Chatlin were kidnapped at the apartment complex to the moment the four criminals were caught, it took just over 10 hours. But within that short span, they had committed 4 robberies, 1 murder, and nearly killed Chatlin. Facing police interrogation, the suspects admitted to car theft and kidnapping, but vehemently denied the murder and assault charges. Unsurprisingly, they all blamed the other 3 for the crimes. According to Whitboy's confession, that evening, driven by greed and lacking money, he suggested to Jay Watson and Eben that they go out to make some quick cash. After discussing it, the 3 decided to hit the streets to seek their fortune. They started wandering the streets. Along the way, they met Julius, Whitboy's friend. Julius also joined them. When they approached the Ravenda apartment complex, the 4 of them saw a green Volkswagen Golf 1. The interior lights were still on. They intentionally went to steal it, observing closely. After confirming that there was only 1 man and 1 woman in the car, they began to take action. At 5:30 a.m., after knocking out Chatlin, 3 of them turned to attack Hannah. To save her life, Hannah tried to negotiate with them. She said, as long as they spared her, she was willing to do anything. Hannah misunderstood their mercy. They continued to drive away. At 6:10 a.m., the dawn light began to appear. The fear in Hannah's heart had yet to subside. She tried to ask about Chaylin's situation. They told Hannah they had knocked out Chaylin and hid him under a tree. He would be okay when he woke up. They then stopped the car at an abandoned printing workshop. There, the 3 took turns assaulting Hannah, then stuffed her into the trunk. The evil men were not done with Hannah. They drove to a vineyard in Stellenbosch, 19 km from the printing workshop. The trunk was opened once again. Hannah was extremely frightened. To save her life and avoid provoking them, Hannah did not resist fiercely. When Hannah thought she was about to be released, unexpectedly one of them pulled out a sharp screwdriver and stabbed her in the neck. They then found a large rock weighing 38 kg and jointly smashed it onto Hannah's head. Interestingly, during the investigation, the police discovered a 5th suspect named Kafchia. This could be a nickname or an alias. This person was believed to have participated in the crime at some point. During the interrogation, the 4 criminals all mentioned Kafchia. However, their statements on this person's involvement and specific role contained many contradictions. It seemed they either could not or did not want to reveal this person's true identity. Ultimately, the police could not find Kafchia. It was not ruled out that this 5th suspect was fabricated by them to mislead the investigation and cover their crimes. A year later, the case was brought to trial at the Western Cape High Court in South Africa. The 4 defendants were prosecuted for murder and multiple other charges. The case caused a public outcry, with many people closely following its proceedings. At the trial, the prosecution presented important evidence, including surveillance cameras at the parking lot, convenience stores, and the 38 kg rock used in the crime. During the trial, the 4 defendants showed no remorse whatsoever. They were not only laughing and joking, but also openly displaying affection towards their girlfriends sitting in the front row, showing a blatant disregard for the law. However, ABN, one of the criminals, secretly wrote letters to Hannah's parents asking for forgiveness, but he showed no remorse in court. After a period of trial, Judge Samoninovo determined that all 4 defendants were not truly remorseful for their heinous crimes. Public anger reached a peak. After deliberation, the Western Cape High Court of South Africa delivered its final verdict. Defendant Joliet was convicted of robbery and kidnapping, sentenced to 22 years in prison. The remaining 3, Witboy Parson and ABN, were convicted of murder and multiple other crimes, receiving life sentences, the highest penalty in South Africa. When the judge finished reading the verdict, the attendees in the courtroom could not contain their emotions, simultaneously applauding and cheering. However, seemingly anticipating the outcome, the criminals showed no signs of distress. In front of the cameras, they even smiled and gave a thumbs up. Parson went as far as making a clown face towards the audience. Their actions were a blatant mockery of the law. The reason they dared to act this way was because they knew that South Africa does not implement the death penalty. After the incident, Hannah's parents established a charity fund in her name. All the donations would be used to help local children go to school to escape poverty and violence. Hannah's death dealt a heavy blow to her family. Hannah's mother closed the law firm she had built over the years to wholeheartedly devote herself to the charity fund, named after her daughter. Sadly, less than a year after Hannah passed away, her mother went out for a morning swim and never returned. Her body was found at sea that afternoon, with the cause of death determined to be drowning at the age of 56. Tragically, she could not live to see her daughter's murderers brought to justice. In 2022, Hannah's father passed away due to cancer. Hannah's younger brother, who has autism, was taken to live at a medical facility where he could receive comprehensive care. Father Lynn fortunately survived the incident, but lost his left arm permanently and suffered severe mental trauma. For a long time afterward, he could not escape the horrific memories, forcing him to pause his studies to focus on treatment. The greatest consolation was that, with encouragement and assistance from those around him, Jenlin gradually overcame the pain, continued his studies, pursued a law career, and actively helped others in similar situations. Today, he has become a husband and father, leading a positive, optimistic life. Anna's case has concluded, but the pain and outrage it left in the hearts of South Africans remain palpable. The case has sounded an alarm about the extent of crime and violence rampant in this country. The story of Anna, about the trampling of kindness and the pain of her family, has become a driving force urging the South African government and people to join hands in the struggle for a safer, fairer, and more humane society. Though no longer present in this world, Anna's spirit, through the charity fund named after her and her father's quest for justice, continues to spread warmth, inspiring hope for a brighter future for South Africa.